Yo, what's happening, everybody? Won't you just let me know in the chat if you can hear me clearly and if you can see the chart? Yo, what's happening, everybody? Just want to see that all is running smoothly. Won't you just let me know in the chat? Can just drop that in the chat. Just let me know. I think there might be a slight delay. I'm not entirely sure, but let's have a look. Dope. So, okay, lacquer. That's good. I don't know. I'll try my very best to see if I can figure the lag situation out, because it kind of seems to be a slight delay. But yeah, I'll work on that. But I'm glad to see that you can hear me clearly and that the charts are clear. So that's a good start. There you go. Okay, so I think we can kind of get to analysis on that a bit late this morning, but it's been quite the week, to be fair. What you guys can do is, I don't know if it helps or whatever the case is, but kind of just spam the likes and whatever. And if you have any questions, just pop them in the chat. But yeah, let me we can start running through. We can run through charts and kind of see what's happening. Having a look at pound yen. It's been a very tough week this week, and the back end of last week as well. Some extremely odd and strange movement, to say the least, which kind of it's unfortunately out of our control. There's not much we can do about it. Moving to the daily on pound yen. The daily structure looks fairly good. We are bullish, and intraday we are bullish as well. But there's no real confluence on the current daily candle and the formation thereof. Moving to the 4 hour, you can see this is exactly what I've just spoken about in terms of consolidation. Price has been messing around within this consolidation range since sort of Friday last week. Quite sporadic movement over there on Monday. We're now, it's obviously Thursday, but we have not seen any real movement here. Price kind of consolidating in an ascending triangle, if you will. But ultimately, in terms of potential downside, I don't see anything at this point. In terms of potential upside, the only area in which I do see a potential play surfacing is with the break of that level over there, right? In terms of breaking above, getting into that fresh range to then continue. I do not really see that happening today, but again, we'll have to I will monitor and see how price sets up and trades throughout the day today. But sitting down for London session, this is merely just consolidation, and there is nothing to trade within this. So there's no real point to even drop down to the lower time frames to see where we could potentially, scale in, because based on the higher time frame, it does not meet the trading plan, and that's extremely important. Moving over to, so what I'll do is I'm going to clean the chart because there's no real point in keeping the zone there. I don't really see anything happening for the rest of this week, to be honest. I'll monitor and see, but it's kind of been a week on the sidelines, to be fair. Then moving to pound dollar, it's pretty much the same thing. This daily looks absolutely horrific. So we have got a massive daily consolidation range, and we need to see price get out of this range. We don't have any real direction. We don't have any momentum. All we do have is an order accumulation phase. Moving to the 4 hour, you might sit and think, okay, but hold on a minute. There are areas in which we could potentially trade here. First and foremost, we cannot look at potential sells because we'd be selling straight into a support zone. In terms of buying, we'd be buying within a consolidation range. So again, it's extremely tricky. This is an absolute mess, and I don't like the way price or how price action looks. I don't like market structure, and I think there are just too many lower time frame zones in which price can react, which then reduces the probability of any potential play within this current daily range. So for that reason, I'm out. I'm not even going to entertain and look at any potential play here. Again, I'll probably only look at this again next week. Moving to EJ, it's the exact same thing. I mean, I don't need to spend too much time here. It's the splitting image of GJ. In terms of, with that direct correlation that we do have between EJ and GJ. Here on EJ, we've got a massive, again, we've got a consolidation range over there on the 4 hour, which is an immediate consolidation range. And then we can extend that further into that, right? Which, again, market structure is not all too great within this higher time frame range. So I need price to clear up. I need structure to clear up, and I need price to get out of these ranges before I will look at trading anything. So as you can see, before I move to gold, just a recap on GJ, GU, and EJ. It's clear as day that price is just consolidating. We've had extreme, sporadic movement, which again came about on Monday with the whipsaw up down, and kind of price has remained indecisive, and we're struggling to see price take direction. I don't know what price is waiting for, but it's clear to us that we've just got to remain patient, and this is just part of the process, I'm afraid. That is kind of why I have been slightly quiet this week. Because it's kind of just been, let's say, a week's holiday for myself. Not much I can do on the charts, so there's no point in sitting here staring at them. So that's the first thing. Then moving to gold, gold looks pretty good in terms of we saw a very, very strong sell-off the past couple days. Now, essentially, it's pretty straightforward in terms of we have got very strong bearish momentum, which means that we'd be looking at continuation to the downside, potentially into equal lows. For me to start looking at buys, the only area in which I will look to buy is with a break above that area there, right? Because at this point, price is still trading within a critical zone that served as support. It was then broken. We've now retested and we are rejecting, and the current daily candle is extremely strong and bearish. So if the current daily candle closes like it is now, right, we could potentially see that move take place from an intraday, intra-week perspective. Now, I will not be looking at selling purely based on this, but this would be the confluence factor. So again, that is the reason as to why the only time I will look at buys is with a break above that level over there, right? So, moving to the lower time frames, we've got this area here, which, we can refine just to incorporate, most recent and immediate structure. And then what is also important is we've got a key area here, or a minor level over there, which, price is obviously currently reacting in or at. Now, with that, the previous 4-hour candle, very, very strong bearish close. So, do we see price pull back slightly pre-New York for, a break of price to crack the London low to then continue bearish, where if that is the case, potentially look at price trading into that area over there. So moving to the lower time frames, be it the hourly, what we can do is we can just isolate that and refine to that area over there. And as you can see now, we've got a, let's call it an hourly consolidation range. And again, if you're in the network, we've covered this time and time again in terms of gold's pattern, right? Now, what am I getting at? We've got a sort of, let's say, consolidation range, which is taking place pre-New York Open. If price sits within this area leading up to New York, right, and we then get New York Open, price will do one of two things. In terms of, again, we need to understand that my directional bias is bearish. So from an intraday, intra-week perspective, I'm bearish. So we need to trade in line with that. But price will do one of two things as per gold's pattern during New York, which takes place, call it 9 times out of 10. We'll either break above to get back below, which would be the fake out, to then send it. That's the first potential play. Second potential play would be a straight break of the low to retest and continue, right? If that doesn't happen, and those are the two areas in which we could potentially look at selling, the highest probable play, it goes without saying, would be a break of this low here to then look at the continuation play. Now, if price breaks above this area and continues bullish, like I said, I will not be looking to buy. The only time I will be looking to buy is with price getting above the current daily candle, the high of the current daily candle. So yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward. So for today, from an intraday perspective, intra-week, I am bearish, and we'll kind of see if price aligns and sets up for us to look at potential sells going into New York. But that's kind of the analysis. So if you have a look at all 4 majors that I trade, the only major that might produce something is gold. Apart from that, I don't see any potential play across any other pair. I'm just going to get to some questions here in the chat. Hey Ty, I'm joining the community month end. I can't find the link on IG. I was in the community before. Is it still the same website? It is tbfx.co.za. Yeah. But what I'm going to tell you is, although it remains the same. That the link is in YouTube, within my YouTube. But I don't know if you are part of the TBFX exclusive group on Telegram. If you aren't, then just get part of that. Then geez, markets are volatile. Yeah, they are. It's quite something to be fair. Thoughts on Euro US dollar? I do not trade Euro US dollar. I can maybe have a look at it. I'm assuming that you do trade it and you want some, or my opinion on that. Market has been choppy, but I just shorted Euro NZD. Okay. Euro NZD. Not every day is a trading day. 100%. 100%. And then Gold going down is interesting. Yeah, I also find it fairly interesting, to be honest, especially with what's going on globally and from a fundamental standpoint. It's fairly interesting. But I think what is very, very important to take away from that, right? What's very important to take away from that is, if you were to look at it from a theoretical point of view, okay, if you were to look at it from a theoretical point of view, gold should be going up, right? The price of gold should be going up. Why? Because of all the uncertainty that is within or present at the moment, given the war between the US and Iran, given all that global political stuff. Gold should be going up, in theory. But that is a perfect representation, or this is a perfect representation of why you cannot depend on theory when trading, because it's not that simple. Whereas all we can depend on is what sits in front of us at this given point in time. And that is what we see here in front of us, the charts, price action, candlesticks, zones, okay? So yeah, I think it conveys a very and proves a very important point that it's not all down to theory at the end of the day, and you cannot trade in line with expectation. So from a theoretical standpoint, we expect the price of gold to increase, right? To trade higher. But we cannot just blindly buy based on that. Because, I mean, look what gold has done. It's sold off heavily. It's experienced the biggest decline in I don't know how long, right? In sort of a given week. Yeah, so very interesting. Yeah. I can't imagine Euro NZD or Euro US dollar being much different to that of GJ and EJ. Theory and practical, two different models. Yeah, 100%. And I think that's a question I get asked so often is, what books would you recommend reading? And to be honest, no book is going to help you become consistently profitable, because again, it's all theoretical, whereas trading is practical implementation, being able to adapt, being able to react. Theory doesn't teach you how to react. It doesn't teach you how to adapt. It's theory, right? So, yeah. I must say it's it's painful. This week, past couple days, it really have been painful. Just with price moving the way it is and the consolidation, and it's. I mean, if you're a full-time day trader, it's tough. It really is tough. I'm still new to trading, so thank you for this. Learning a lot. Also using XNS, and it's good. No, it's an absolute pleasure. Yeah, listen, XNS they are top tier. New to trading, like my advice to you is, if you need to find a mentor who you resonate with. You need to find a mentor who trades the way you would like to trade. And just dial in. And like, please, you know, I'm like 9 years, almost 10 years deep in this industry, in this game. I'm full time. I've been through it all. Now, just please listen to me. I know individuals will look at me and be like, yeah, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And they will follow me on Instagram, then they will see another trader, then they'll see another trader. Tyron hasn't been taking trades this week because his strategy doesn't allow. Hey, but this trader's been taking trades, so I don't really care about what Tyron's doing at the moment. I'll get back to him next week when he starts trading again. But let me focus on this other guy for the time being. Like, that is going to lead you to failure. So, like, please just listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. It's not like I'm new to this industry. So, yeah, that's very important. Find a mentor you resonate with. Find an approach you resonate with and you'd like to adopt and dial in. I know this sounds extremely cliche, but why does a horse run a race with blinkers on? So that it can stay in its lane and will not get distracted. It's the same thing in trading. Social media is the reason 95% are unsuccessful in this industry. Social media is the biggest contributor to failure. Why? Because it houses so many distractions. But anyway, just please take that advice and run with it. Patience has been tested the last 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm struggling. I am struggling properly. It's not often that I struggle and get affected, but at this point I am. Would you be open to mentorship? Yeah, listen, it's very difficult for me to create the time to mentor somebody one-on-one. To be completely honest with you. Number one. Number two, I don't really see that being beneficial. So the only form of mentorship that I do offer is obviously the course, and then that comes with an annual membership to the network, which is where we show up like this every day. But that's as far as my mentorship goes, unless you want that one-on-one, but you're gonna pay a premium for it. Just to be blunt and transparent about it. But yeah, that's not really something that I have the time for. Number one. Number two, I mean, it's why I don't think it's beneficial is because you might struggle, or you might not think of a certain element within this trading, right, or within the approach, but another student will, and that student will then sort of ask the question, and you'll sit there and be like, oh damn, I didn't even think about that. This is helpful, right? So that's why mentorship outside of individual mentorship is so beneficial, and that is how my course has been created, right? The initial, when I created the course, I took a select group of individuals, and we all sat through live mentorship, and that is how the course was created. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but you can head over to the website. You'll be able to see the content of the course there. It's quite neatly structured out. In all honesty, even if the patience is being tested, it's better to sit on the sidelines and take constant losses. The market has to move nicely at some point. Yeah, 100%. and that's the realm of professional day trading. And I think why individuals can't accept that is because they do not trade proper capital. Um, so if you're not trading proper capital, you cannot afford to sit a week without a trade. You cannot afford to sit 2 weeks without a trade. But if you're trading proper capital, you can, because one trade makes up for the 2 weeks or the week you spent on the sidelines. And again, that's all, from a psychological point. So, yeah. If that makes sense. Should do though. But professional trading is a combination of mindset, complete skill set, sufficient capital, strategy, and patience. Yeah, 100%. That's all it is at the end of the day. But again, like I said, most, 95% at least, which is what statistics prove, 95% just cannot grasp that. And what I find absolutely bizarre is, with the accessibility of these, funded accounts and these prop accounts, I honestly, the success rate should skyrocket, because now the biggest challenge that most people face with the limitation of proper funding, that has now been eliminated and people have access to it. So now the whole patience element of trading, can be practiced. So I don't understand why individuals, it baffles me. And I think it is the whole thing of, the distraction, social media being the distraction. Sophie. Yeah, it's a slippery slope. But it's what you said, Ty, the focus on social media and comparison. Yeah, it's exactly that. It's exactly that. But it's the whole thing of, like I said, in terms of my approach and my strategy, it's been very difficult to trade sort of the majors this past week and a couple days last week. So I'm kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting. Individuals see that on social media and they're like, okay, but hold on a minute, why is Tyron not trading? But then this other mentor has taken 6 trades in the space of 3 days. And then that individual goes and says, okay, I was following Tyron, but this is quite a dry spell. So, hey, I'm going to now focus on this other trader. Then when this other trader goes through that dry spell and I'm taking trades, the individual then goes, oh, okay, let's go back to Tyron. Now, the problem with that is both myself and this other trader have completely separate or completely different approaches and strategies that have been sort of developed from a personalized point of view. So it's going to cause conflict. And that there's the reason that individual that keeps jumping from trader to trader is not profitable and is not consistent and still works a 9 to 5, right? And I sit here and I say that, but I've seen it throughout my years of mentoring individuals, right? It's that is the problem with social media. So, but again, Tyron just talks a bunch of bullshit. Let's not listen. Being sick is actually helping me to not be on the charts. Been in bed for a couple days. Yeah. No, listen, I mean, Jaden, you ain't missing anything. You ain't missing anything. It's yeah, it's been challenging. It's been challenging. And these periods, these periods are the periods that make or break traders. Hey, sweet, no worries. But see, there's some questions here in the IG. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe gold will produce come New York, but I think we'll like I said, I covered in the stream a little earlier. That's what I'll kind of be looking for is that pattern that gold provides 9 times out of 10. But other than that, I think if gold doesn't do that and set up like that, then I think it might just be another day on the sidelines. But yeah, I think so. Kind of for those that are on the IG live, we've kind of been on a YouTube live stream for a good 35 minutes. So if you aren't following on YouTube, head over to YouTube, give me a follow because I'll be bringing these live streams back. But yeah, I thought I'd just pop in on the IG live just to kind of show you why I'm still alive and kicking, right? Not every day is a trading day, clearly, but well, in the professional world at least. Yeah, otherwise I'm gonna hop off the IG live and we'll keep going on the YouTube live for now. And yeah, otherwise I'll catch you all soon. Can I maybe repeat what I want to see on gold? Yeah. So, Jen, you know the gold patterns as shared in the Discord, right? Kind of the pre-New York consolidation range. So for this year, I'd like to see gold either, immediately break to the downside to retest and sell off. And if that doesn't quite happen, then, possibly a break of the high to get back below and then sell off. But again, it kind of depends. It kind of depends where price is trading pre-New York, because we could see price break the low now during London. So yeah, but that's kind of effectively what I want to see. Because if you have a look at the daily as well as that of the 4 hourly, price does suggest that we could very well continue selling. So yeah, that's effectively what I'd like to see. Yeah. That's pretty much that. I mean, we've been here almost 40 minutes now. What I'm gonna do is going to probably go and sort out some admin and do what I need to do, and then possibly return for New York. I will see how my day goes. But yeah, we've been through thorough analysis. EJ, GJ, I'm not interested in. Gold, I've broken down exactly what I would like to see for a potential setup come New York session. And now it comes down to sort of, just a game of patience. So yeah, I think that's pretty much that. Let me wrap the stream up. I hope you all enjoyed this. What I'll do is I'll try my very best to start bringing these back on a regular basis. Yeah, appreciate your time, appreciate you showing up, and I think that's it from my side for now, and we'll catch up again soon. Guys, have a cracking day, enjoy the rest of it, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next stream.